What is up, everybody? It's the mailman, the commissioner, Jimmy Milstead, and this is the league, Fantasy Hockey. And we're in week 14 of the NHL season. And this is the Storks desk. Uh, I want to say we're on episode 4 because we did have a draft episode that I labeled as episode 1. So, welcome to the Deputy. It's his show. Our guy, Kevin Stork, up in British Columbia. Your basically weather's the same as mine right now. It's a beautiful day here. How are you doing, Stork?
Not too bad, man. Enjoyed some hockey, except my Leafs lost tonight, but they were due for a loss. So no worries. They're allowed to have a rum dum game because they were due for one. But other than that, some good hockey, and some of my guys got some points in my leagues, and of course in the league fantasy hockey, I've got the lead, so I'm happy about that. But it's going to be close. It's going to be a close weekend. They were almost coming down the end of week 14. 3 more game days left, and when you look at the standings, man, I mean, we're in for a race for the final. We're for the last eight games.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've had a lot of divisional games here during this stretch. Last week we just finished our fourth round of non-divisional play against opposite divisions, which we have 6 matchups yearly. So that was a great week of action. We'll be going over that in a second. But um, yeah, what are your thoughts, buddy? Right now, like you were just telling me before we hit record, down there in California, our hearts go out to the LA area with those terrible winds and hard to contain fires. Sounds like a lot of homes and a lot of people lost a lot of their lives here, basically. Hockey's on the back burner. LA Kings are on a Manitoba trip, I believe. I think they play in Winnipeg and Calgary here. That one game was postponed last night. That's the first chance I got to see any news coverage, but Kings obviously playing with heavy hearts. Hopefully, all of those guys are doing okay with homes and stuff. I know it's got to be. They're playing well too. The LA Kings are playing real well. Anze Kopitar, captain of the Kings. This guy's found the fountain of youth, having a great year. But your thoughts there, Storky, as we talk about real life here for a minute. Crazy stuff going on. It's 2024 5 now, and it seems like there's always something going on in the world that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine what some of those people in LA are going through. Last news I heard was over 1,000 homes destroyed, and dozens and dozens of businesses, and yeah, it's just really bad. And the winds haven't helped. They last I heard, they still don't have control of anything, and it's just sad. It's just very sad. I feel terrible for those people.
Like I said, I haven't really watched any news today. It was a busy day for the commish, taking care of other real life things. But yeah, all the best to the Los Angeles Kings organization and the surrounding communities. We'll continue to follow and see what Gary Bettman does. I'm not sure what their upcoming schedule is after this road trip. Hopefully, it doesn't impact too much because hockey's already going to have it's already a condensed schedule with the Four Nations face-off set to come out here in February. It's going to be tough to make up some of these games if they have to cancel too many. So we'll continue to monitor the situation. And once again, thoughts and prayers down to SoCal. So yeah, we're in week 14, Stork, of the league fantasy hockey, and tonight, this is January 9th, 2025. I'm trying to ingrain that in my head. It's 2025, Stork. 2024 kind of went fast for me personally, but a busy night in the National Hockey League. It was a real around the league. Let me take a look at some scores here. We had the Battle of McDavid and Crosby Crosby moves into ninth all time. As we'll open up the show here just with some NHL chatter. We talked about your Leafs a minute ago. Austin Matthews, even though in the loss, he's back. I know you're happy about that. But Sid, the kid, aging just like Kopitar, like fine wine. He is now ninth all time in scoring, buddy. What are your thoughts? I can't remember who he passed. I was kind of flipping throughout the whole game, but they beat the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid in a marquee matchup, 5-3 there in Pittsburgh. Did you catch any of that game?
I watched some of the highlights. I wasn't watching that game in particular, but hail to Sid. I mean, he hasn't lost a step really at all. I mean, he's still a Class 1 hockey player, and he has been his whole career. And good for him. I'm not sure, don't quote me on this, but I think he passed Stan Mikita, I believe. I'd have to look it up, but I think it was Mikita he passed.
Because I was looking for the post that I posted in the room. All it said was Sid is moving up in the ranks, and I didn't really click on it because he's got now 1,642 points, brother. That's a lot of cheddar there. One of the greats, man. And the Penguins. Say what you will, they had a terrible start to the season. They're still fighting. Them and the Columbus Blue Jackets are starting to make some noise in the Metro as the Islanders just scored. Our buddy Waylon Womack of the Washington Wendigo is live at that game, and he has a slip in for Anders Lee. And Anders Lee scored. It looks like Brock Nelson just scored there. So we're in real time here talking. It'll be taped once you guys press play on this. But Islanders need to get it going. They're down at the bottom of the Metro. But some other scores tonight, Storky. Buffalo Sabres, they're starting to heat up. 4-0 shutout of the Ottawa Senators, who are starting to cool down. The Senators, I thought, were looking pretty good, and all of a sudden they look like the same old Senators. I'm not sure what's going on with that team. They just came off a long road trip. We'll talk about the World Juniors in a minute. They were away because that's where the World Juniors was their home barn there in Ottawa. The Rangers took it in overtime tonight, Storky, 3-2 at home. MSG, Igor Shesterkin back off the IR. They get the win against the Devils. New Jersey Devils just came off the West Coast, so I'm sure that had something to do with tonight as well. But Dallas, they win their sixth straight, 4-1 win in Philly. Philly is on the downward spirals. Tampa Bay and Boston. Tampa Bay beats them 4-1. I know you don't like Tampa, but I know you really don't like the Boston Bruins. Bruins are starting to head south, I would assume. They're a tough team to for me to gauge. I know they always find a way. The Kraken started an East Coast trip, and we were just talking about the Columbus Blue Jackets. They are offensively just jumping right now, Stork. 6-2 tonight. One of them, I think, was an empty net. I caught the tail end of that game. Marchenko. That guy's is his name Krill too?
Yeah, he's a monster.
Yeah.
Him and Voronikov, they're both just lighting it up.
Yeah, I had to play.
They got a good young team, man.
Yeah, so we'll watch. They're playing with some passion, Johnny Gaudreau. That pain's never going to go away. They're always inspired with Johnny. I know he was with the his spirit was with the Team USA here at the World Juniors, but Columbus Blue Jackets, watch out if they can shore up the nets. I think Merzlikins was in net tonight. Yeah. They're tough. They're tough at home. I know the Caps lost him at home in a low scoring game, but Jackets can find a way to score on you. And Monahan, I think is out right now. That's going to be tough.
That hurts a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. They're in the there's another outdoor game this year. They're going to play Detroit. And I know that's going to be an electric environment because Columbus is a low key great city for sports. Ohio State's still in the college playoff. That's a college town for Ohio State, but they support those Blue Jackets, and that's an electric environment. And they might catch some fire here. I'm going to keep an eye out on those Blue Jackets, buddy. Mm-hmm. Like you said, your Toronto Maple Leafs took one on the chin tonight to Carolina. I believe I always get the Stahl brother wrong. Not Eric.
Jordan.
Jordan. He had a hat trick, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So 6-3, Leafs take one. But the Leafs are playing some good hockey. Bump in the road there. Carolina tough at home. Anaheim and at St. Louis. St. Louis beat them 6-2. I know I had Pavel Buchnevich in that game. He looked pretty good tonight. I didn't really look at anything else that game offered. Watch out for the Blues, man. I think Monty is just a great pickup there by the St. Louis Blues for a coach. And then Nick's Minnesota Wild. I don't know. Their injury just riddled right now, Storky. We don't have Nick on with us. The Colonel, he's been missing. He's on the milk carton. I think he's got a lot of stuff going on, Stork. Nick's not as talkative as he usually is. Hopefully, we can get more out of Nicky here down the playoff stretch run. I miss the Colonel, but you're playing him right now, by the way.
Yeah.
But to wrap up tonight's scores, Colorado was just thumped them 6-1 after they lost to the Blackhawks last night here in the States on TNT. So anything jump out to you tonight on tonight's NHL scoreboard, buddy? Like I said, the Islanders are the only game going right now, 2-0 over Vegas. So we'll keep you updated on that. But yeah, man, anything in the National Hockey League that's jumping out to you right now? They announced the winter. I know you're not the biggest Winter Classic guy. They're going to be in Florida next year for 2 contests. So they're taking it outside down south. So I guess that's good for people that want to travel down.
Can you imagine
to some warmer weather?
how bad the ice is going to be in Florida? I don't care if it's January. They're going to have problems with the ice. It's not going to be. I think it's going to be an issue. I really do. I think they're. I don't know. I just don't think it's a good idea. I mean, I don't. Not in Florida.
Well, they had that one year. We were just talking about L.A. Dodger Stadium, and that one was. I want to say, that was not the Winter Classic. It was like the Stadium Series, I believe, and that was a Dodger Stadium, and they ended up making that work. That was like actually closer to March too, I believe, or was it in March? That was crazy, but I was surprised that worked. But I think the Florida game is actually in the Miami Marlins Stadium, which I think has a roof, so I'm sure they can.
Well, they can isolate the cold from there, but they're talking about an outdoor game.
Yeah, I don't recall I forgot. I didn't see the official announcement. I know it's already officially announced, but I want to say Tampa plays Boston or something.
Yeah.
And I do not remember where that one was, but yeah, it's going to be interesting, buddy. But we got the Four Nations face-off coming up. But what I know you said you weren't a big World Juniors guy.
Well, not that I'm not a big. I mean, of course, I follow it, and I cheer for Team Canada. But I'll tell you what, last year they didn't look good. This year was even worse. Whoever picked this team, they didn't even pick the best players here. I mean, there's so many guys left out. Guys that, all they did was pick the guys who score goals. Well, you know as well as I do, you can't make a team that way. You need balance. You need defense. You need tenacious checkers. Canada didn't have it, man. I mean, we can name 6 to 10 players that should have been on that team. So I think whoever picked Team Canada, they shouldn't be able to pick them again because it's just horrible. And what happened to them was no accident. Team America, they picked the right guys, and they were the better team through the whole tournament. And it certainly wasn't Canada. As a matter of fact, I'll make a joke and say that Team America looked like Team Canada this year. Dominant. And Canada wasn't. And they deserved to lose. And it was embarrassing.
It was a good mix of the right ingredients. A well-coached team, too, that Coach Carl there from Denver University. This guy's highly sought after by National Hockey League teams. And I know we could fit. I know who needs him is the Buffalo Sabres. But he says he's well entrenched there at that university. He's happy. His family. He's not really secured the bat. I mean, like I'm sure he's living a fine life, but I wonder if somebody drops a huge bag for this guy. And what his money talks, man. But this guy, he is not coming back though next year, Stork. I just heard that today on NHL Network. So USA is going to go for the three-peat, but it won't be with Coach Carl next year.
Yeah.
That was mentioned today. But USA, the grassroots here is getting a lot better.
Yep.
This particular group, college hockey's blowing up, and guys like Ryan Leonard, who captained the squad, I think he made the right decision coming back. It was just a perfect mix this year for the U.S. to defend the gold medal that they won last year. Back to Canada, was it the second straight year they lost to Czechia?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, back in the day, these guys would never even. Latvia beat them. You never even would have. You would have laughed your ass off if somebody told you about that. That's just not the way that Canada operates. But I'm confident Canada is going to be back on the map again. But
No, I'm sure they will.
Kudos to a bunch of the other.
I'm sure they will, Jimmy. But I mean, like I said, the whole team was a mistake this year, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, they played. I mean, that game against Latvia, I watched it, and all I seen was them skating around, thinking, "Oh, this is going to be an easy one. We'll play." And then they actually, all of a sudden, they were tied, and thinking, "Geez." Then they all turn into individual players. There was no team going on.
I did notice
they were all trying to be the hero, Jimmy, and it didn't work. So they got what they deserved.
There was a lot of undisciplined plays. I can't remember the one player. I know you have Easton Cowan on the Leafs. He had an opportunity to pass it, and it would have been a slam dunk goal.
Yeah.
I can't remember the winger. That was against the Czechia team. Yeah, just one of the most undisciplined teams I'd ever seen in Canada. But the other countries are starting to catch up. Finland was outstanding. I can't believe. Well, I can believe because the USA is resilient, but they were down 3-1. I thought maybe in that gold medal game that it was curtains. It was in the first period, but it seemed like Finland let off the gas because they came out humming and had a great push on the USA in that first period. But credit to the coaching for adjustments. I watched that whole game and. It just seemed like, once the USA got that tying goal, two guys that stand out to me, buddy, and I know I'm a Capitals homer, Ryan Leonard, he didn't even have the greatest tournament. I thought he might have been better last year, but great leadership from him. But that Cole Hudson, another Capital, he might be better than his brother Lane, and Lane is great. Lane's got to be a top 2, top 3 Calder candidate this year. Get your opinion on that. And then there's a kid named Gabe Perreault. He's a Ranger draft pick. His dad was Canadian. I think his first name was Yannick back in the day.
Yeah.
I want to say, 90s. Yeah, he played for the Blackhawks, if I recall.
He played for the Leafs too.
Yeah, great. His son, what a sniper. That guy had a hellacious tournament. So the USA captures the gold there in Canada soil. So as an American, it feels good for me, buddy. I celebrated pretty hard because it means a lot to me for USA. I consider myself basically Canadian because I love this sport so much, and I want USA to. This country doesn't grasp it like you guys up north. I know there's a lot of new fans that are getting, the flavor for it, but it's still not as big down here. I want that juniors tournament. I was trying to spread my excitement to other hockey fans, and this is the other thing, Stork. Down here, I think the problem is like up there. There's no problem to catch the World Juniors because it's like right on your TVs. Unless you're a hockey fan down here, this thing was tucked away on the NHL Network. Like ESPN didn't broadcast it. It's college football season, obviously, and other pro football is going on. But this World Juniors down here is just not accessible for the casual hockey observer, and I think that stings. But great tournament. I just thought it'd be cool to talk about that for a few minutes because a lot of these guys in this tournament, they're going to be pretty much the marquee guys in the NHL. That's just how things have gone over the past years. And there's one other guy I want to talk about, and he was on Sweden. Sweden, they've been struggling lately as far as medals and stuff. But I have him in the Fantrax League. This defenseman, he was a defenseman of the tournament, buddy. Sandin Pellikka. He's a Detroit.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this guy to hit the NHL. This guy was. I was talking about Cole Hudson. What a player this kid. He had a fantastic tournament. One of the bright spots for Sweden. It's been a long time since Sweden took a gold medal, but right now it's in the juniors. It's been Finland, Canada, and the U.S. So, but a great tournament. Finland was a tough opponent. They're the only team to beat the U.S. in the tournament itself. USA was able to get revenge there with the Teddy Stiga GWG in the. One other opinion, Stork. Your thoughts on 3-on-3 overtime in this thing that decided? Do you think it should be 5-on-5 or 3-on-3? I kind of wish it was 5-on-5, but it's international.
What for the international? You mean?
Yeah, the championships was decided on a 3-on-3 overtime there.
Now I like 3-on-3. I like it in the NHL. Yeah. If you look in the NHL standings, you don't see a whole bunch of shootout losses and shootout wins because of the 3-on-3 and the 5-minute overtime. I mean, 5 minutes is not a lot of time, but when you got that much open ice and so much talent in the NHL, you're going to get a ton of scoring chances, and more than likely, somebody's going to score a goal. So I don't mind 3-on-3 during the overtime during the season or international play for that matter.
Okay. I was going to say, you don't want it in the Stanley Cup.
In the NHL, I don't want to see it in the playoffs.
Okay.
I want the 5-on-5 because it's continuous until somebody scores. And as you know, being a hockey fan, there ain't nothing like playoff hockey overtime. I mean, it's exciting. So, I wouldn't stop that. But during the season, I've grown to like the 3-on-3. I wasn't sure about it when they first did it, but now that I've seen a few games, I'm liking it now because it's exciting 5 minutes of hockey, back and forth. I mean, it's good hockey.
Yeah, I mean, as a hockey tradition, or I just like when it comes to the Stanley Cup, I got to have that 5-on-5, just sudden death, but continuous overtime.
I like that more, but they won't do that in international hockey.
Yeah,
and they can't do it during the regular season in the NHL, Jimmy, because
I get it.
It's just too much wear and tear on the players because, I mean, especially when you have the parity that we have in the NHL today, those games could go on till 2 a.m, and then they might have a game the next day, and that would really hurt them. So they just can't do that during the regular season. But in the playoffs, it's, do what you got to do. 5-on-5. Keep playing until somebody scores. I don't know if it's the same thing for international hockey. I'm not sure. They've never talked about it or discussed it, I'm sure, is having 5-on-5 and a continuous playoff when there's two teams tied. No matter if it's the regular rounds or the playoff rounds. I don't like a game being decided where one team gets knocked out over a shootout.
Yeah, I can't stand that either.
That one I don't.
That's like World Cup stuff in soccer.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff. I'd like to see two teams, especially in the playoff rounds, to play until somebody scores. So, I mean, it's two different situations with the NHL and international hockey, but if I was in charge, I would get rid of the shootouts in the international hockey.
Well, we'll see next year after this Four Nations face-off this winter. We're going to have the Olympics in Italy, so best on best this year, next year is you know, we got a hunger to finally see it. Connor McDavid's never really been featured. I can't wait to see all these guys, including your guy Austin Matthews, this spring, and it should be a heck of a watch here. I'm trying to bring up last week's scores here. I'm on the Yahoo page. There's like so many windows, Storky. So last week, week 13, I went over this on the Commissioner's Corner in our private Facebook group. But one real quick, just to rehash last week's non-divisional matchups. Adna beat DuPont 10-8. The Cherry Bombs finally get a win. They beat Probert pretty good, 16-3. We had the champion DB Cooper fall by 1 point. A rematch of Stork Cup year one. Scotty's Nova injured reserve, a huge win last week. Stork, they win 9-8, and they're back in a dogfight this week against their division rivals Mark Wood and the Woodpeckers Hockey Club. The Frozen Norsemen, they lost to the Killer Bunnies 12-9. Nick struggling after he won a game. Huma 13-7 over the Washington Wendigo. Julio is the leader in the Gretzky division, Stork. And then we had you, Langley Scorpions. You're the one that beat the Woody Woodpeckers Hockey Club, probably the hottest team in fantasy hockey here. Mark Wood's team finally gets their third loss. Biggest win for you this season. Puts you over 500 at 7-6. Your thoughts on that game? We talked about it on the Commissioner's Corner. Let's hear it from you. What'd you think of Mark's competition there?
Well, I'll tell you what, that was one game I wanted badly. I wanted to get over 500, and I was a little nervous because he hasn't beat me yet. So you always got that on your mind. And when is he going to beat me? Is this going to be the time? But I had it set all week. I had a game plan. I stuck to it. I had the lead, and I didn't really lose it all week, but it was still close. But I had it set pretty well, and I was feeling pretty confident going into Friday's games that I was going to hang on and beat them. I didn't need the goaltending that week because I was outscoring them, and some of the special teams categories I had. And I knew it was going to be close, Jimmy, but I ended up on the good end of things. And this week, I'm trying to do the same thing against the Colonel.
Yeah, the Colonel Nick Reedy. Looks like you guys have been back and forth in that one. We'll go over that in a minute. But yeah, last week was the Gretzky versus the Ovechkin. It's been all Ovi in the history. The Gretzky, though, has owned the 2 Stork Cups. The only champion we've ever known is Mark Raymond and DB Cooper. But there you can see 16-8 between the 2 divisions so far. All time.
The dynasty is over, Jimmy.
Yeah. So we'll see if Mark Raymond can bring home the hat trick. But Don Cherry not doing too good, buddy. He was terrible last week, and so if he's picking you to win, that's most likely you're gonna lose. He drops to I don't know if you can see it, 35-40 in his league picks.
Couple of less bottles of brandy for Don.
Donnie. Donnie's has his own podcast. I'm not sure if I know we've mentioned that on here before. I've never had a chance to
seen it.
Listen to it, or I'm sure it's probably on YouTube as well. I'll have to check that out. But speaking of Donnie, let's move to his power rankings going into this this pivotal week 14 of divisional play. This is the rivalry weekend. Also, Storky, we dub it rivalry weekend. The last time you meet up with the opponent, because there's 3 matchups per year versus your division opponents.
Yeah.
And we are in the first round of the matchups of the third round versus the opponent. So unless you see him in the playoffs again, this is the last meeting, and it's a nice way to end the season against your rivals. But here was the Don Cherry's grapevine from last week, his reactions. Langley, he's jumping up. Yeah, look at him. Number 5. Adna has never been above 4. They just can't seem to ever crack the top 4, buddy, or top 3, I guess. Huma, though, got to tip my hat. This guy's been playing solid there, Julio.
I can't wait to play him.
Yeah, you guys have only played once, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the quirkiness of the schedule.
Yeah, we won Huma.
Yeah, I've only played Scott once, but you'll be playing them 2 times here down the back half of the stretch. Yeah, 2 times.
2 times, Julio.
But check out, I mean, that's gonna
your Dukes up.
You guys, Mark Raymond, could have a lot to say for that Gretzky title. Up at the top, though, Woody Woodpeckers, even though they lost to you, they remain number 1. But right on their heels is Scott Lanham, Scotty baby.
I told everybody at the beginning of the year to watch out for Nova.
Yeah, he's poised. I know he's looking for another goalie. He dropped Charlie Lindgren this week. He talked to me offline. He's looking somebody to help him with Aiden. I guess Aiden Hill is his other goalie who's playing right now, but losing 3-0. I know he won it. I know 3-0. Yeah, I didn't see who scored that 3rd goal, but the period's already. That's a quick period because we started the show right when it started. But Nova, if they can shore up their goaltending, watch out. They got Mikko Rantanen on that team, and tonight I don't even know what he did. I know I saw him score a goal, but that guy, he's getting paid, Stork. He's due for a contract extension, and I don't know how the Avs are going to – or I don't know what's going on, man. I'm not a money guy.
They have the money to pay this guy. He's in the same situation as Marner. I think they're both going to get big paydays probably before the end of the year, because I really don't see Rantanen wanting to leave Colorado. And McKinnon. I mean, him and McKinnon must be good buddies, because every time you see a Colorado goal, they're in the mix somewhere. I don't see him wanting to leave Colorado. I think he likes it there.
Yeah, every time I flip on an Avs game, or my Caps played actually pretty good against them, but that guy is never on the score sheet, and yeah, he's gonna get paid. So I know Scott, like we were talking about, has been enjoying him a ton, and Scott's got a great just set of offensive weapons, and he got Ovechkin back, who he's been quiet this week, but coming off that broken leg, he scored a couple more. The countdown is on for the great one, but Caps have been struggling in the offensive category. They beat the Canucks last night, but Scott has Ovi and a couple other Wizards on his team. So watch out. We'll see if these rankings are the way they are this time next week when we get together. Down on the bottom, unfortunately, Tim. This guy played me tough last week. In fact, he had the lead at one point.
He played me tough the week before.
He doesn't go away, and he just gets snake bitten at the end. I'm not sure what his deal is, but he gives you it all. And also, Dave, he's playing for 2025. He's cooled off a bit after kind of going on one there. Alex put him in his place. Alex only moved up 1 spot, though. But if she beats me this week, look out. She could be back in it. Nobody's totally out of it except probably Tim. So when it's all said and done, and watch out for Dan Hall, the Killer Bunnies, right here. He's been just so inconsistent, but the way he's been playing lately, and I think, is he the one that picked up Joe Wall? I dropped Joe Wall because I had to. I had 3 goalies. I want to say it was him, but if he gets that goaltending, well, he's always had a good goaltending carousel. He's looking to trade UC Saros.
He's always looking at the wire. You got to watch Dan.
Yeah,
he's a wire watcher.
He's got Vasilevsky as well. His goaltending's pretty good, but yeah, watch out for the Killer Bunnies. They've never made the playoff. This is only their 2nd year, but and then there's Nick, number 8. You're playing him this week. Any words to the Colonel, buddy, while we have you on the video here?
My condolences, Colonel. I'm sorry for what I'm going to have to do to you this week, but I want this win badly.
Your thoughts on Don Cherry's rankings? Are they pretty accurate to you, or is there a couple?
Yeah, they are, man. They're actually quite accurate, I think. But you're right about the Bunnies. You got to watch out for the Bunnies down the stretch, and we're getting down to it, Jimmy. I mean, this is No time for errors anymore. You lose a game or two when you're in that little bubble zone. You got a lot of catching up to do because games are running out for you to make up. So yeah, I mean this is the exciting part about fantasy hockey, especially when you have a league like ours here, where like you said, only one team appears to be out of it.
Yeah.
Everybody else, they just got to get hot and they can get right back in that race. I mean, you look at sixth place, who's in sixth now? I know they're under 500, so that should give some incentive to those teams under the top six, 6 to 11, really, that they still have a chance. They still have a chance to make a playoff spot.
So let's go over the current standings here as we are now in divisional week 14. Like we said in the Gretzky division, Julio, Huma, playoff team last year. He is settled in at a nice 8-5 record. His division is pretty good, Stork. His division record 6-3. So that's what is bread and his butter at the moment. He's made about 46 moves this year, is what I'm looking at. So he's been sort of active, but down in the 40s, I would say you're picking and choosing. You're not exactly, you know,
He's
always
not
going
sitting on
after him.
his hands, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, he's picking some guys up here and there, but a 6-3 division record is pretty good. You, like we said, are in second place right now, buddy. 7-6, back over 500. Your division record is 5-4, so I know you're looking to improve that, but at least you're above 500. You have made 59 moves, buddy. Is there a particular move that stands out to you so far this year? I know there's been a couple of trades. I'll announce. There was a trade this morning I didn't announce to the league yet, but
Yes.
any
Yeah.
any moves this year that stand out to you so far that you're like, I'm not dropping this guy?
Well, I mean, I made a trade to get Celebrini off Pro Bear, and
Oh yeah,
although he hasn't
telling
produced a
me.
whole lot, this kid is real,
Yeah, he
and
is.
he's gonna make me want two keepers next year.
Yeah, I
Yes.
know. It's gonna be tough decisions there in
Because
Storky
he'll
land.
be the guy I take. He's
Yeah,
still a couple of years away from being a dominant player, but I think he's coming there. I
yeah,
think,
he's
I
definitely.
mean, look what he's doing on a rum bum team. I mean, not a whole
Yeah,
lot of talent around him, but
yeah. I will.
he's coming up with some good games and good efforts. He plays hard. I mean, that's one thing about him. He's not, he's not hanging around the red line waiting for a pass. He gets in there and he digs in his own end. He really is a good 200-foot player.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see it. Like you said, I think he's only gonna get better and better, and he makes the Sharks kind of watchable. Like there's certain teams that they're not watchable. Like right now, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Tim. The team out here is the Seattle Kraken, and like to me, they're not fun to watch. To me, I know Tim. He's driving it. It's driving Dave batshit crazy
I
out
still
here.
like the uniforms though.
Oh yeah, their uniforms are clean, but there's something about this team. It's just and they
There's
got
no
they got
character.
they got Capo Caco. I mean, they got some characters, but they're just still
Yeah,
like
I
it's
don't know.
Chris,
Like you
the
said,
the
it's hard to
Brandon
watch them on TV because they're
the
not
Brandon
playing well.
tandems. Yeah, I mean, you got Shane Wright is always here and there. Um, they got defensemen like Adam Larson, and just nothing real. I mean, Montour's been awesome for him. I have him on my fantasy team.
Mm.
Um, the goaltending. I'm sorry, I love Phil Grubauer, the gentleman, German gentleman. But I don't know. Joey Decourt seems like he's always banged up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ronnie Francis. They got Capo Caco, who I think is going to end up fitting well in there. Just got to let this team gel, I guess, a little bit. There's
Well, I mean, they got some guys that were supposed to have some talent and they haven't showed up. Wright is one of them. Beniers, so he's not really. But I mean, we've talked about this before. For some
yeah.
young kids, it takes 3 or 4 years for them to get something going.
You got
Look at
you got to know.
Laffy in New York. He had a breakout season last year, and not so much this year, only because the whole Ranger
Oh
team
yeah.
looks horrible. But he had a breakout season last year. He's not having a terrible season this year, but he's not what he looked like last year. And I think he's another guy that if the Rangers get it together, he's another guy to watch out for next year. But Seattle has all these young kids that just haven't showed up yet. And I don't know if Beniers is going to show up. Wright had some attitude issues when he first came in. I don't know if he's going to show up. He has, you see bursts of the talent they got, but they're not showing up consistently every day. And that's why Seattle's having troubles this year.
Back to the standings. The champions, DB Cooper, 6-5-2. He has 2 ties. He's kind of been on a losing streak, Storky, or winless streak. He has made 65 moves this year, so he's made the most. Or no, correction. The Killer Bunnies have 66 moves, but we'll get to them in a minute. So the champs finding their way, but watch out. If they get in, they're like the Boston Bruins. They find a way to get in. It's anybody's game there. But only 3-4-2 is Mark Raymond inside the division, Stork. So I know you're chomping at the bit to have another
I
matchup.
got him
with
one
champs.
more time too. So.
Yeah. And then our boy Nick Reedy, the Colonel, as we mentioned before, he's having a struggling season. He lost last week after winning the week before, 6-7. He had a huge losing streak going. This was the Don Cherry's preseason pick, if you recall. Nick has traded away a couple of people. That's the trade I wanted to mention, Stork. He traded away another sniper. Cole Caulfield goes to, you guessed it, the most active team this year in fantasy hockey, the Woody Woodpeckers Hockey Club. Mark Wood picks up Cole Caulfield. I want to say it was a
sixth
round pick. Yeah. Or no, he gets the 18th. Nick gets a 6, right?
Yeah.
And Nick ended up getting the injured Evgeny Malkin and why can't I think of the other player? Pretty solid player that's healthy. Why can't I remember who the heck he traded?
Hold on.
Let me tell.
I'll look.
I can't believe this. I can bring it up here. It's just.
I was just staring at it today. Oh,
there was so many.
Carlson.
Oh, Johnny Carlson. Okay, yeah. Mark tried to trade Johnny Carlson to me because he has Chikrin, who's just a hair better than him, I think, this year. Chikrin's been playing out of his mind, but yeah, Nick gets a couple of aging vets, but gets a draft pick that's. Nick's kind of in the middle right now, Starkey. He's looking for next year, and he's also trying to probably stay competitive here, which I still think he can get into the playoffs, but he needs to put it together.
What, 6 and 7?
Yeah, he's right there. But yeah,
he's in the bubble.
Nick's been weird lately, buddy. I haven't been able to talk to him much. We'll see. Maybe we can get the Colonel on here soon. Right behind him is the Probert Etiquette, 4-8-1. Like we said, he's playing for next year. But Dave's 4-4-1 in the division. So, I mean, he gets up for these division games, and he's never beaten DB Cooper, his opponent this week. He did tie him for the first time ever this year. That was his only tie. But he lost to him again, and then this is the third and final meeting. Can he get off the schneid and get his first ever win? Dave, by the way, a belated happy birthday hit was 2 days ago.
Yes.
I have a present for him, and I can't mention what it is on here. Not that he watches this, but I'll let you know what he got next show, buddy. 4-8-1, Probert, and he has made 57 moves, so Dave's been active. DuPont, like we said, in the cellar, the Gretzky, 2-10-1, but, I mean, hats off to Tim. Great matchup last week. He gave it his all. Only 2-6-1 in the division, so he has the 2 division wins. And he's making moves, man. He's made 67 moves. So DuPont's always looking. He's also snake put in goal. I think he gave up Pekka Luka, and he got a shutout tonight. He ended up tossing him to the side because I think he was hurt at one point. Demko just came back on, but now he's hurt again, I thought. Demko just can't stay healthy. I think he's back already, but he's like, on and off all the time, Storky. So can't get any consistency out of Demko. And Anthony Stolarz, that was a big loss for Tim. He's still got him on the IR on his team. He's looking for him down the stretch to play spoiler if Stolarz can get back in the Leafs crease. But that's the Gretzky, buddy. Over in the Ovechkin Woodpeckers Hockey Club, running away with it right now, but not really. 10-3. They've let
Not
Scott back
yet.
in it. So this is a big divisional matchup. Last of the season between the two. So Scott's right behind him at 9-4. Division Mark is 8-1. That's the best division record in the league. Scott is 5-4 in division. Scott's only made 28 moves. I don't think he's had to make a lot of moves. What are your thoughts on that, Storky? 28
Well,
moves by the Fire Brigade. He's
take a look at his lineup. Who do you really want to get rid of? Really, I mean, he's got a couple of floaters there that he can move and get somebody else. But solid team, Jimmy. He's got a good team.
Yeah, he does have a very good team. Oh,
You know,
I made a mistake.
When you're 9-4, what?
I made a mistake. Woody Woodpeckers have the most moves all year because of all the trades he's made. 73.
Oh yeah,
Mark. Yeah. So I made a mistake there.
Like I said, man, Nova, good team. He's got lots of balance. He's got scoring. He's got some goaltending. He's looking at the wire. He's not using it a lot because when you're 9-4, you don't mess around with a good thing. If things are working for you with the team you got, you don't want to make a whole lot of moves. It's those bubble teams that need wins, and they know it, and they have a chance to win that week. Then you make some moves, but you don't move out guys that are producing because it might hurt you next week, right?
Yeah. And in third place, yours truly, the United Americans, 7-5-1. We're really happy with our team. These past couple of weeks, we've been struggling, but only 3-5-1 in the division. I've had my success against the Gretzky. So Adna's going to try to get this big divisional win this week against Alex. It's a kind of a must-win, to tell you the truth.
No, I'm looking for fourth place, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'm right below you, man.
60,
watch out.
Yeah, 60 moves made by Adna this year, so we've been pretty active. Killer Bunny's right behind me at 6-7. Dan's only 3-6 in the division. He's had 66 moves. Washington Wendigo, this team's surprising me. Waylon, ultra competitive, but he's told me himself his goaltending is just not there. Alex Lyon's injured again, and that's been his key starter. He's got Kachekov, who's been very good for him, but Waylon likes to play the waiver wire for goalies, so but he's slipping it here. He's a proud playoff team both years. Only 5-7, only 3-5-1 in the division, or 5-7-1 he is. He's made only 40 moves. I thought Waylon was more active than this. And if you recall, Stork, he was our only non-live drafter, so I think he did a pretty good job not draft. He had an excellent draft. Probably would have liked a better goalie, but we'll see how Waylon does. And then Cherry Bombs, she's in last place, but not playing like it. She's ultra competitive with me this week. She's 5-8. She's gotten back in it. She needs a win here to keep in it. But she's 4-5 in the division. So a lot of that has to do with McDavid. He had 3 apples tonight against Pittsburgh. 59 moves. Alex is pretty active. So that's the division, buddy, so far. Games this week in progress. It's pretty much to wrap up the show. These are in progress scores. Adna's leading the Cherry Bombs by 1 point, 10-9. She took the lead over in goals on me. Wonder who she has tonight in the Vegas game. DB Cooper, once again, beating Probert. 12-8, though. It's gotten closer. Dave's gotten closer. So, Dave, 0-7-1 all time against Mark. Something's got to give there for him. DuPont is losing to Huma 12-6. Huma has this one pretty good so far. And Storky, what a barn burner between you and Nick. 8-7. When I started this show, Nick was ahead of you. You're ahead of him by 1. What a dogfight that is. Nova's injury reserve is losing 13-6 to Mark. So something happened there. That one was a lot closer. I think it was 9-9 coming into the night. And then the Killer Bunnies have an 11-8 lead over Waylon's Wendigo. And that's the matchups so far, buddy. The floor is yours. Anything you want to talk about league, fantasy hockey, or NHL? What's on Stork's mind?
Well, I mean, like I said, I love fantasy hockey, Jimmy. I love the final 7, 8 games of the season, and it's always fun and exciting and nail biting, especially when you're fighting for a playoff spot. I know I'm sitting fifth right now, but that's not comfortable because I got a whole bunch of hungry teams below me looking to get into that top six. And when you got 12 teams, 6 teams is it's tough to get that top six. I mean, it really is in this league, especially because you only have 6 playoff teams. And if you look at the standings, I mean, it's obvious the top three are really running away. But that leaves, I mean, you're in fourth, but you're only 7, 5, and 1. You have to worry about the teams below you too, because 4, 5, and 6 are not comfortable with only 8 weeks left, 7, not including this week. So losses can really hurt you at this point.
So the playoffs, if they were to start today, even though they won't, we saw this in the National Hockey League. It's the unofficial halfway point of the National Hockey League. We're a little bit over that in the league because we have 21 weeks. But here in Week 14, if the playoffs were to start today, which they won't, your number 1 seed would be Mark Wood. He would have a bye with the Ovechkin Division crown. The Gretzky Division crown number 2 seed would be Julio and Huma. Here's where it would get interesting. Right now, it would be Adna Americans taking on the Langley Scorpions, Starkey.
I know. I was looking at that, actually.
Yeah. And then the Nova Injured Reserve would be taking on DB Cooper, the rematch of Stork Cup 1. So right now, that would be an interesting playoff, but we know that probably most likely could change. Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. But we're in Week 14. My math is terrible. What is that? 7 more weeks to go. A
That's
lot can happen. We have the trade deadline late February, and that's not really too far away, really. January and February has always seemed like the dog days because that's what they are. And then you sandwich in the 4 nations. That'll be interesting how that goes for our league. Have you even
I'll have to
investigated
look
how
at the
that?
schedule. I'm not sure
Yeah.
exactly what Yahoo is going to do. I'm not even
Ooh,
sure what ESPN is doing, but
I never even thought about this, man.
I
Wow.
I will look at that right after the show. I'll go and see what they have planned for the
Yeah.
Four Nations schedule.
And we'll bring it up on next week's show on
Yeah,
what
it's either going
we
to
are
be a
doing.
short week or it's going to be a long week. So we'll see how it
Yeah.
goes.
Because it's what? Is it 12 days? The tournament?
Um,
Like a 12-week or 12-week, 12-day hiatus or so. Something.
possibly, yeah. Like I said,
It's
I'm going to have to look at that.
like
I'll
an
look at it right
extended.
after the show because now I'm curious. I looked and I
Yeah.
forgot what I looked at.
Like it's always been on the calendar for us to be excited about, but I've never really looked at it for fantasy. It's going to be interesting because we already had a short week. And that was my matchup against Mark. I needed more than 4 days against that guy. But kudos to the schedule maker. We never know how it's going to go and how your teams are going to be when that
Yes.
schedule is made preseason. So, well, that was a great show, Storky. I really enjoyed talking to you tonight. New York Islanders are leading the Vegas Knights 3-0 as they have entered the third period. So enjoy that, Waylon, in Vegas. Hopefully he's winning some money. But Storky, I enjoyed talking to you on this January 9th, 2025, as we are in Week 14 of the National Hockey League. It's been an entertaining season. It helps when our pro teams are, not bad. So I'll take that. But the
You
game
and
of
I are
hockey,
first and second in the conference, man.
yeah. I mean, I feel spoiled, but I mean, we're sporting our teams. I feel pretty spoiled, and I'm feeling good for the playoffs. Let's get into the dance and then see how it goes. But hopefully everybody stays healthy, and let's have a great 7 weeks here left in our league season. And we'll talk to you next week, buddy. It's been a great day for hockey, as Badger Bob always once said. Have a great night, Stork, and we'll talk to you this weekend, buddy. Good night, everybody. I'm the commissioner, Jimmy Milstead, for Kevin Stork. This has been the Storks Desk.
Take care.
Yep.